Now we get to our predictions for not one, but two pay-per-views coming up this weekend. WWE Payback on Saturday, AEW All Out on Sunday. Like we said earlier, doesn't exactly feel like a double pay-per-view weekend. Both shows are sure to be enjoyable. I'm sure of that. They're bound to be very good shows, but I just don't think they're going to be overly significant. They don't feel as big as past pay-per-views this year, but listen, AEW and WWE both have put together a great year of pay-per-views. WWE specifically between the Rumble and even going back to 2022, but in 2023 alone, the Rumble, Chamber, Mania, Night of Champions even in Saudi Arabia. We had the Backlash show in Puerto Rico, Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, all good to great to excellent shows. AEW wasn't overly fond of Double or Nothing in May, but Forbidden Door, excellent show. We had Revolution back in March, excellent show. All In, a very good show last Sunday. So I'm sure these shows should be fun. How must-see they're going to feel, I'm not sure. WWE in Pittsburgh of all cities, which isn't a bad city, but they've been in London this year. They've been in Puerto Rico. They were in LA for Mania, Montreal. Not bound to be the most electric audience, but it should be a good show. And then AEW in Chicago, which is typically a loud, rowdy crowd, but they weren't overly loud on Wednesday's Dynamite. They've been in Chicago a million fucking times. No CM Punk on the card as of right now. Doesn't look like it's going to change. So I'm not overly excited for these shows, but I am looking forward to them nonetheless. So we start with the AEW All Out show for Sunday first, since we were just talking about AEW a couple of moments ago with RJ. But we start off with the AEW TBS Championship, Chris Statlander and Ruby Soho for the title. Statlander defending here. Should be a very good match. I would love to see Soho walk away as the new champion. And I was probably predicting that about a week or two ago before Saraya became champion. We have some tension within the Outcasts. Obviously, we're recording this before Collision on Saturday. They're going to be teaming in a 6-woman tag team match. It seems like the Outcasts are over. Saraya pinned Toni Storm, and they had a whole falling out during the All-In 4-Way on Sunday. Saraya is the new women's champion. Saraya might end up defending that championship on the show. It seems like we have a full card. I know we just said with RJ, maybe she'll defend it and lose it on the show. Doesn't seem too likely, unless they want to add another 1 or 2 matches, which is always possible. If Saraya's already champion, and that's kind of like the focal point right now, I don't see Ruby winning here, which is a shame because Ruby's gotten so many championship opportunities between WWE and AEW and has not won a single fucking one. It's probably got to be over a dozen at this point. Between the WWE Women's Tag Team title opportunity she got in WWE, she's vied for the NXT Women's Championship, the Raw Women's Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship, AEW Women's World Championship, and the TBS title on countless occasions. Even the fucking Owen Hart Cup she lost twice. Ruby can never really seem to win whenever it matters most. I don't think this is going to be any different. I would love to see Ruby walk away as the new champion in the same, on the same show in the same city where she debuted in AEW 2 years ago. But again, in the midst of all the Outcast drama we have going on right now, I think Statlander walks away, still the TBS champion. And Mr. Marceau's got Statlander going over as well. I think a Willow Nightingale Statlander match might be inevitable. They've been building up a nice alliance over on Collision that hasn't gone anywhere yet, but I'm hoping it will. So I have Statlander retaining here, and RJ texting me his predictions. He has Statlander going over as well. We don't know who Adam Cole and MJF are going to be defending the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships against. Rampage was already taped. I'm not a big spoiler guy. I haven't seen it spoiled so far on social media. I'm not looking up to see who they're going to be facing until I watch it on Rampage on Friday night. So you might know, I don't. Mr. Marceau doesn't either. Regardless of who it ends up being, we have Adam Cole and MJF going over, still the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. They could lose on Sunday, and that's like the catalyst for their big split, which I don't think happens on Sunday. I don't think they lose them this soon. I think AEW wants to get more out of their team and have them face a few different teams. Who they face, I really don't know. The Kingdom are not in the Gauntlet match. Is it a Gauntlet match or a Battle Royal? I think it's a Battle Royal. Who the fuck knows? I don't know who's going to win it. I don't think the Kingdom are in it. The Hardys would be cool. Aussie Open getting a rematch would be fine. They already had the one match, and I'm not sure why they would need to win a fucking Battle Royal to become number one contenders again. Just give them the rematch. Maybe it's a new team entirely. Maybe it's the Dark Order. They picked up a win last week on Collision. Maybe that's why. I would hope not. Who gives a shit about Dark Order? The Hardys would be cool. Aussie Open would be fine. Doesn't really matter. We still both think, Mr. Marceau and myself, MJF and Adam Cole walking out still your Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Tag team action, Eddie Kingston, the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion, and the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, Katsuyori Shibata, taking on Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta in tag team action. Nothing on the line here. This is just more about furthering the feud between Eddie Kingston and Claudio. I'm glad they're not giving it away on such short notice for All Out. That would have been dumb. We're getting it here in a tag team match. It's very possible, and I hope they do it. They could wait till Final Battle, but that's like 3 or 4 months away. I would do Eddie Kingston and Claudio for the Ring of Honor World Championship at the Grand Slam show in a couple of weeks. Eddie's from New York. They'd pop big for Eddie Kingston winning his first World Championship in a major promotion. That would be awesome. So I have Eddie Kingston and Claudio happening there. Claudio and Yuta just lost it all in. They also lost in Blood and Guts. They need a victory. I feel like if you're building to Eddie and Claudio, though, Eddie needs another win. I see him probably beating Yuta here. He already pinned Yuta on Dynamite is the issue. I don't know. I'm going to say RJ's got Kingston and Shibata going over. Does Eddie really pin Yuta again? I'm going to go off on a limb here and say Claudio and Wheeler pick up the victory. And Eddie kind of remains in chase mode. And maybe we do end up getting that match in New York, but regardless of the outcome here, it doesn't really matter. But Blackpool Combat Club has lost a lot, so I'm going to give them the win here. FTR and the Young Bucks teaming up in an 8-man tag team match. Actually, not the first time ever. They actually teamed up on at least 1 or 2 Dynamites back in 2020 during COVID, before they had their match in late 2020. They're going to be taking on the entire Golden... I wrote down the Golden Elite here for some reason. All of Bullet Club Gold, a different Gold faction. It's going to be Jay White, Juice Robinson, and the Guns taking on FTR and the Young Bucks. RJ's got Golden Bullet Club going over here. I'm going to say the same. I think FTR and the Bucks, their feud is still going. Otherwise, why would you do this match? Maybe we get a 4th match from those 2 teams in the near future for the for the AEW World Tag Team titles. I'm also going to echo Mr. Marceau's prediction there and say the Bullet Club Gold faction goes over. Samoa Joe defending the Ring of Honor World Television Championship against Shane Taylor. Why is this match happening on a AEW pay-per-view? I don't know. I don't want to complain too much because I've been saying in my Ring of Honor reviews for a few weeks now. I'm looking forward to this match. It should be a fun hoss fight, and I'm glad it's getting some exposure here as opposed to like on an episode of Ring of Honor TV that barely anyone's going to see because the show's been so missable for so many months now. It feels like they're just doing this match to get it on the card because... they had to pull Punk and Ricky Stark, so it's like, all right, we're down a match, let's add this match. It was going to happen at some point anyway. Ring of Honor probably will not have another show until December, so fuck it, let's just do it all out. Hey, listen, you won't get any complaints out of me because it should be a fun match. We got the video package for Shane Taylor on Dynamite, whatever. It looks like they really want Joe to become the longest reigning Ring of Honor World Television Champion of all time, so I think Joe wins here and retains the championship, and Mr. Marceau has the same. Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. RJ's got Hobbs going over. I'm going to say Miro. Hobbs, it seems like... I'm going to say we're going to get some interference from QTV. And they're going to inadvertently cost Hobbs the match. And maybe he turns on them afterward and he actually joins Miro and they become buddies. I'm going to say Miro wins. He's got Hobbs. Both guys need wins. But Miro has not been beaten yet since coming back. Hobbs has. Hobbs has been beaten quite a bit actually this year. So I'm going to say Miro wins. AEW TNT Championship, Darby Allin defending against Luchasaurus defending against Darby Allin. This could go either way. I'm just done with Darby in the TNT title picture. It feels weird to have Darby Allin lose to Luchasaurus of all people, but actually, I love the gimmick with Christian pretending he's champion, so I actually do not want that to be cut short. I'm going to say Luchasaurus. I also, just like I said, do not think Darby needs another run as TNT champion. RJ also has Luchasaurus going over. I'm going to say Luchasaurus too. I know Darby already went for the World Championship earlier this year. Surely there's more he can do beyond fucking winning the TNT title again. I'd rather him and Sting go for the tag team titles, to be honest. If Sting really is winding down, which isn't set in stone, but I have Luchasaurus going over here. I kind of hope he wins. Mr. Marceau also has Luchasaurus going over. Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita. Mr. Marceau's got Takeshita. I think the feud's over. The feud has not been remotely as interesting as I thought it would be because they really have not made Konosuke the focal point as they should have. It's really more about Omega and Don Callis. I'm going to have Omega go over here. Omega's lost a lot of big singles matches this year. Don Callis has said that, and I think they're mentioning that because Omega's finally going to get one over on Takeshita here. So I think Omega wins. I would love to see Konosuke win, but I just don't think they're going in that direction. I think he's really just someone for Omega to beat. He already pinned Omega in that 6-man tag team match last week. For him to get some maximum amount of heat, for him to beat Omega here again would be great. I don't see that happening. They could have him win and then build to a rematch at Grand Slam where Omega finally picks up the victory and then goes after Callis. I'm going to say Omega. I think Omega's lost a lot this year. It really doesn't matter to me who wins, but I think they're going to have Omega pick up the victory. And then honestly, I have this on last because I think this might be the main event. I don't think Omega and Konosuke feels main event worthy. It's just not a hot program. I really don't know what else you have closed the show. They don't have a world championship match in the show. I mean, we heard Ricky Starks and we saw Tony Khan tweet Ricky Starks is challenging Ricky Steamboat to a strap match at this pay-per-view. Okay, I have Starks winning if so, which is, I don't know why they would put Steamboat in the ring, but maybe it's a street fight. I don't know, because Punk seems like he's suspended, so that's just not going to happen. The Adam Cole MJF Ring of Honor tag team match, I guess, could main event. That just seems odd. I think Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley, they're treating this match like the main event of the show at this point, especially now knowing Punk will not be on this card. It seems like this might be the new main event. And Orange Cassidy, I honestly can't complain. He's had such a great run. I can't argue with that. I think having this close the show might not be the worst thing. I'm going to say Jon Moxley becomes the new champion. It feels like a big enough moment. This is it. Cassidy has run through like 30 different people as champion, won multi-man matches, singles matches, triple threats, battle royals, everything you could possibly imagine, and he's won every single time. I think he wins here. I think Moxley, that is. I think Moxley wins here. I think he finally becomes champion. Orange Cassidy's run is indeed over, and we have a new AEW International Champion. RJ's Orange Cassidy retaining, so not that we disagreed, but he has some different predictions than I do, so it's going to be interesting to see how those play out on Sunday. WWE Payback on Saturday. Let's go back 24 hours here to 24 hours earlier to WWE Payback. We have the Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes. That's going to be on the show. Cody Rhodes not wrestling his first pay-per-view since, I think, Elimination Chamber. He's been on every card since Mania. He will be on this card, just not wrestling. I don't think it's anything really significant. I don't think he goes out there and calls out, like we already had him and Brock. Maybe he makes it known that he wants to challenge the winner of Rollins and Nakamura at the next show or at Survivor Series or something. We kind of already had that teased on Raw a couple of weeks ago, so it doesn't really feel like it would be a special thing if he had it, if he said it here. I think this is just more about having Cody Rhodes get one over on Grayson Waller, setting up a match for Raw or SmackDown next week, just to keep Cody busy for a little bit longer until Rollins is done with the Nakamura. The first match in the show, LA Knight and Miz, sounds like a great opener to me, if you had that open the show. I think LA Knight should win here. I think he will win here. RJ agrees. He's been on a roll. They're giving him consistent television time. He's incredibly over. People love him. It makes sense. Just have him go over, dispose of the Miz. They can kind of continue the feud if they want to, but this feels like a payback match to kind of give Knight payback on Miz, and then they can move on from there. Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Raquel Rodriguez. I have Ripley. RJ does as well. Too soon to have Ripley lose the championship. She has been champion for 5 months by like the time payback happens, but I think it's more accurate to say that it's too soon for Raquel to become champion. She's just not ready yet. The feud's been fine. She's not overly interesting yet. I would have Rhea Ripley retain the championship here and maintain the Women's World title. United States Championship, RJ and I both have Rey Mysterio winning. Could you have Theory get the belt back by having Santos turn on Rey? It feels too soon for that. I thought they might do that a couple of weeks ago. They didn't. Feels like they're really dragging it out and making that the long-term story. I don't think that happens here. I think they might save that for down the road. I don't think, more importantly, Theory needs that fucking title. That did more damage than anything towards the end of his run. He needs to absolutely move on from the United States Championship. What he does next, I don't know, but it should not involve the U.S. title. So I have Rey Mysterio retaining, as does RJ. Undisputed WWE Tag Team titles on the line in a Steel City Street Fight is what they're calling it. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking on Finn Balor and Damian Priest. This is probably the most unpredictable match in the show. Both RJ and I have Owens and Zayn going over and retaining the belts, Balor and Priest. It's probably more about their tension. Priest hopefully attempting to cash in soon, maybe even successfully cashing in soon, we'll see. Yeah, I think this might be used more as a vehicle to kind of further that tension. Hopefully Owens and Zayn can win, and then they move on to other challengers. There's plenty of other teams on Raw and SmackDown they have not yet faced. So I would not take the belts off of them here. It's not necessary. Balor and Priest do not need to be tag team champions. I wouldn't be upset if they were, but it's probably time to move on. So I'm going to say Owens and Zayn still your tag team champions. RJ agrees. Steel cage match, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus settling their score here. Becky Lynch is probably the most favored person on this entire show. There's no way Trish wins. She won the first match. They've had a couple of matches since then. Becky has not gotten one decisive win over Trish yet, one-on-one. I think it happens here in the steel cage match, and they finally end the feud, thank God. RJ agrees. And then in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. Both of us, we agree on every prediction on the show. We both have Rollins retaining the World Heavyweight Championship. The feud's exceeded my expectations. Nakamura has been presented surprisingly really well as a heel. He's come off great in those video packages and the vignettes and whatever, which is awesome. Still doesn't feel like a big threat. He feels more like a filler feud for Rollins before Rollins gets the Rhodes at some point soon. So I've got Rollins retaining, as does RJ. Maybe they do a rematch at Fastlane, very possible. It might just be a two pay-per-view program as opposed to a one pay-per-view program. Either way, I think we both see Rollins walking out still the World Heavyweight Champion with Cody Rhodes on the horizon, and we'll see where they go from there.